Hi, viewing public. My name is A.D. Scaff. I'm an attorney with the Disaster Relief Project at Legal Aid of North Carolina. So today we're going to talk a little bit about contractor fraud. So talk first about sort of how to avoid it, just some tips and suggestions of how to avoid contractor fraud. And contractor fraud is like when someone agrees to complete repairs or build something or do something for your home or your property, and then either does like a terrible job, and so damages the thing that they said they were going to repair because of their own actions, or completely fails to do anything after you've paid them money. Okay, so the first most important tip on how to avoid: don't hire anyone that looks like this. So if your contractors look like these two hooligans, please do not hire them. Okay, next tips. Okay, so the first one, be realistic. Okay, so when I say be realistic, if you have major damages to your home or property, let's say a tree hit the roof, there's a giant hole in the roof, and there's a lot of water damage all through the house, and the bathroom doesn't work, then be realistic about how much that's going to cost. So if someone comes to you and says they can get everything done for $5,000 and it's these giant repairs, then that should kind of raise a red flag for you. Houses are expensive, repairing houses are expensive, and so just kind of keep that in mind. Think about what the repairs are, and also get an estimate, right? So ask the person, how much do they think it's going to cost? Now, all projects can run into sort of unforeseen issues or problems where it's going to cost more money, but have an estimate and have a written estimate. Ask that person to write down what it is specifically that they can do and how much it's going to cost. And if a person is saying, it's going to cost all this money, the other conversation you can have with them is, what are immediate things that can be done that can help alleviate some of the situations? So you may not have money to fix everything in your house, but a good contractor, a good person that is building and doing these repairs should be able to tell you what things you can get done that could help if you can't afford everything, right? And then getting a written estimate. Again, have them listed out. It doesn't have to be fancy. Some contractors, it's very fancy, but some, it's just a piece of paper that they wrote down. As long as it's got exactly what they're going to do and how much it's going to cost. That's really, really important. Okay. The next thing is, are they licensed? So a licensed contractor can be important because a licensing contractor could it's more than likely going to be insured, right? So if there are damages or something's not done, then they likely will have insurance that can cover those issues, okay? Licensing also generally means that someone is going to be a little more expensive. So you're not always going to have somebody that's licensed, but it's a good idea to check on that. If somebody comes to you and they're saying, I'm licensed, and they're showing you papers, then there's a website that'll be on, I believe, the next slide, that you can go to. You can enter in their information and you can see through the state whether or not they are licensed, right? And just, it's always a good idea to go into these things with open eyes, right? Even if they're saying that they're licensed, check on it. If they're not, check on it. Just make sure, right? Either way, just make sure. The other thing, don't pay all the money up front. Okay, if they have given you an estimate, right, and they're saying this is how much you need, then talk to them about how much they need down. And typically half is okay, all right? So you pay half down and half when they're finished, okay? And some contracts can get pretty elaborate. They can have a fee schedule where you're paying so much money along and along. So if that's the case, and they say, well, first we have to buy materials and that's going to cost such and such. Okay, let's say you pay that. And then they tell you well, we need more materials, okay? But no work's been done. Then that should raise a red flag, right? Because if work's not being done and they're asking for more money, or the work's being done but it's not what you thought was going to happen, right? It's okay to have a conversation with that person and If they make statements such as like, well, we'll just stop doing any work, it can be tough, but sometimes that's the best course. If somebody is not doing what they're supposed to be doing with your money and your home, then it is okay to say, look, you're not doing what I want, I'm gonna stop. You're gonna terminate them, right? And then you're gonna figure out what they've done and what they haven't done. So the other one, don't pay in cash. If you get money, please, please do not pay in cash, okay? If you get money from FEMA or some other disaster relief organization and you're putting that into the bank, you don't have a checkbook, see if you can get a debit card, see if you're able to do a cashier's check, like get something so that you have clear documentation of what you paid and who you paid it to. Don't just give somebody cash because it can be really difficult to figure out where that money went or who took it if someone, whenever you're paying someone in cash. Also, don't pay money without a contract, okay? So again, this person should be writing down what it is they're doing and how much it's gonna cost, and they should be giving you an idea of how long it's gonna take. So don't just give somebody money if they don't have if you haven't signed anything, any sort of agreement between them. And again, so some people are gonna have very fancy contracts, it's gonna be typed up. It might have all kinds of language in it, but even if that person doesn't have a big business, say they're just an independent person that does repairs and you know them, they can still write down what it is that they're doing and how much it's gonna cost and what's their timeline for getting those things done. And then you can sign it and they can sign it. It can be on a piece of note paper. It does not have to be fancy as long as you've got it and you've got a copy of it and they've signed it and dated it, okay? Okay. So for the licensing board, this is the website to look them up. Again, whether or not, let's say they say they're licensed, you're gonna look it up. And if they say they're not licensed, you still wanna look it up, double check on these people. You know, it can be tough when you're desperate for repairs, but take these extra steps because they can help protect you as far as fraud, people not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Other big thing, receipts. I cannot stress this enough. Please, please, please get receipts. These are the various types of receipts, okay? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter, okay? If a contractor is asking you to go to Lowe's and buy materials for them, you keep that receipt, all right? If they ask for the receipt, you make a copy of it. If they're asking you for money to go buy materials, then you tell them that you need a receipt. You need a copy of that receipt. Get copies of receipts, keep them, hold them. Again, it doesn't have to be fancy. I've got also a thing, I found something on the internet, is a handwritten receipt. It's for farm implements, but you know what you get the idea, right? It doesn't matter what it looks like as long as it's showing how much was paid to who and what the materials were, okay? All right, now, what to do if contract fraud happens to you? The biggest thing you want to do is gather documentation. So that's gonna mean pictures, receipts, contract, all of these things. Make sure you have them together, okay? And that's another thing, like when you are seeking repairs, try and take pictures, even if it's pictures with your phone, whatever you've got, take a couple pictures of what the damages are. And then if someone, doesn't do what they're supposed to do or damages it, and you have documentation of what it looked like before, and then take pictures while they're working also, okay? Try to just take some pictures, keep that documentation, and then anything that you sign, any sort of agreements that you have in between you and this person doing repairs, make a copy. Again, if you don't have a means like to make a physical copy with like printer at the library or whatever, take a picture of it. Just take a picture of the thing that you've signed so that you have it for you just in case. The other thing, there's a homeowner's recovery fund. There's certain guidelines that you have to meet, but if a person does not, whether they are licensed or not, does not complete the repairs that they're supposed to and defrauds you out of money or further damages your home, there is a homeowner's recovery fund. And this is the website to go to. It's the same one that you would go to look up whether or not someone's a licensed contractor. Okay. Last most important, contact us. We are a disaster relief team, so if your fraud issues stem from any natural disaster related damages, please contact us. And if they result resulted from any other types of damages, still contact us. We will work to help you, whether that be looking at any court involvement, any other things that we need to do, we can assist you. Thank you so much. Stay safe.